unique in its own way. But there is one planet that stands out from the rest, a world so hostile and unforgiving that it has earned the moniker Death World. This is the story of how humanity, against all odds, not only survived but thrived on a planet that would be the bane of any other species. When the Galactic Confederation first discovered Earth, they sent a team of their most experienced explorers to assess the planet's potential for colonization. The team, consisting of various alien species, eagerly descended to the surface, expecting to find a lush, resource-rich world ripe for the taking. Instead, what greeted them was a nightmarish hellscape that defied all logic and reason. The moment the explorers set foot on Earth, they were assaulted by a barrage of deadly hazards. The very air they breathed was filled with toxic gases and microscopic organisms that invaded their bodies, causing excruciating pain and rapid deterioration. The ground beneath their feet was a treacherous minefield of poisonous plants, quicksand, and hidden predators, waiting to strike at a moment's notice. As the aliens ventured deeper into the heart of this death world, their situation only worsened. They encountered monstrous creatures that seemed to defy the very laws of nature. Gargantuan beasts with scales as hard as diamond, fangs the size of swords, and an insatiable hunger for flesh. These abominations, which the humans would later come to call behemoths, roamed the land, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The explorers, despite their advanced technology and weaponry, were no match for the horrors that Earth had in store for them. One by one, they fell victim to the planet's relentless onslaught, their bodies torn apart by the behemoths, or consumed by the very environment they had hoped to conquer. In the end, only a single survivor managed to escape back to the Confederation, bearing a grim message. Earth was a lost cause, a world too dangerous for any sane species to inhabit. But the humans who had evolved on this very planet saw things differently. To them, Earth was home, a place where they had learned to adapt and overcome the challenges that nature threw their way. They had developed a unique set of skills and technologies that allowed them to not only survive, but thrive in the face of adversity. When the Galactic Confederation declared Earth off-limits, the humans took it as a challenge. They refused to abandon their homeworld, and instead, set out to prove to the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with. They fortified their cities, built massive walls to keep the behemoths at bay, and developed advanced weapon systems designed specifically to combat the threats that lurked beyond their borders. As the years passed, the humans continued to grow and evolve, their civilization reaching new heights of technological and social progress. They learned to harness the power of the very elements that had once sought to destroy them, using the planet's abundant resources to fuel their expansion and strengthen their defenses. The humans' ingenuity and resourcefulness knew no bounds. They developed specialized exoskeletons that allowed them to traverse the treacherous terrain with ease, and they engineered genetically modified crops that could thrive in the toxic soil. They even managed to domesticate some of the smaller, less aggressive behemoths, using them as beasts of burden and loyal companions. As human civilization continued to flourish, they began to explore the far reaches of their world, venturing into uncharted territories that even the bravest among them had once feared to tread. They discovered hidden oases of life, pockets of lush vegetation and crystal-clear waters that had somehow managed to survive the planet's harsh conditions. But with each new discovery came new dangers, and the humans soon realized that they were not the only ones who had learned to adapt to the Death World's challenges. Deep within the planet's subterranean caverns, they encountered a race of sentient, insectoid creatures that had evolved to thrive in the darkness. These creatures, which the humans named shadow stalkers, were fiercely territorial, and possessed a hive-mind intelligence that made them a formidable foe. The humans, however, were not ones to back down from a challenge. They met the shadow stalkers head-on, engaging in a series of brutal battles that tested the limits of their courage and resolve. In the end, it was the humans' superior technology and unwavering determination that proved victorious, and they emerged from the caverns as the undisputed masters of their domain. Word of humanity's success eventually reached the ears of the Galactic Confederation, who were both amazed and terrified by the prospect of a species that could not only survive, but thrive on a death world. They sent emissaries to Earth, hoping to establish diplomatic relations, and perhaps even learn from the humans' unique abilities. But the humans, having endured centuries of hardship and isolation, were wary of outsiders. They had learned to trust only in themselves and their own strength, and they were not about to let any alien species dictate the terms of their existence. They welcomed the emissaries with a show of force, demonstrating their military might and technological prowess in a way that left no doubt as to their resolve. The Galactic Confederation, realizing that they were dealing with a species unlike any they had encountered before, decided to take a more cautious approach. They offered the humans a place in their ranks, promising them access to advanced technologies and resources in exchange for their cooperation and allegiance. But the humans, ever proud and independent, declined the offer. They had no interest in joining a galactic community that had once written them off as doomed. Instead, they proposed a different arrangement, a mutual defense pact in which the humans would share their knowledge and expertise in surviving hostile environments, in exchange for the Confederation's protection against any external threats. The Confederation, seeing the wisdom in this proposal, agreed to the terms. And so, a new era of cooperation and exchange began between the humans and the other species of the galaxy. The humans, with their unparalleled ability to adapt and overcome, became valued allies and partners in the exploration and colonization of new worlds. As the years turned into decades, and the decades into centuries, the legend of the Death World and its indomitable inhabitants spread throughout the galaxy. The humans, once dismissed as a lost cause, had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, a species that could not only survive, but thrive in the face of any challenge. And so the story of Earth and its people became a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, when all hope seems lost, there is always a way forward, a path to victory, if only we have the courage and determination to find it. For the humans of Earth, that path had been forged through centuries of struggle and sacrifice, through the fires of adversity, in the crucible of the death world itself. And now, as they stood tall among the stars, they knew that they had earned their place in the universe, not through the charity of others, but through their own blood, sweat, and tears. They were the survivors, the conquerors, the unbreakable spirit of humanity, and they would never let anyone forget it. As the human delegation stood before the Galactic Confederation, their leader, a grizzled veteran of countless battles against the behemoths and shadow stalkers, stepped forward to address the assembled representatives. "You once called our world a death world," he said, his voice deep and resonant, carrying the weight of generations of struggle and triumph. "You saw us as a lost cause, a species doomed to extinction, on a planet that would consume us all." He paused, his eyes sweeping over the gathered aliens, his gaze fierce and unyielding. "But you were wrong. We are not the victims of our world, but its masters. We have taken the very things that sought to destroy us and turned them into the instruments of our survival, our prosperity, our strength." The human leader gestured to his delegation, a group of men and women who bore the scars of countless battles, their faces etched with the lines of hard-won wisdom and unbreakable resolve. "We stand before you now, not as supplicants or beggars, but as equals, as partners in the great endeavor of exploration and discovery that lies ahead." He stepped forward, his voice rising with the passion of his words. "We offer you our knowledge, our expertise, our strength. We will stand with you against any threat, any challenge, any obstacle that stands in the way of our shared destiny among the stars." The Confederation representatives murmured among themselves, some nodding in agreement, others looking skeptical or even afraid. But the human leader was not finished. "But know this," he said, his voice dropping to a low, menacing growl. "We will not be subjugated, we will not be controlled, we will not be told what to do or who to be. We are the masters of our own fate, the captains of our own souls, and we will never, ever surrender that freedom, that autonomy, that essential human spirit that has carried us through the darkest of times, and the most impossible of odds. He paused, letting his words sink in, letting the weight of his message settle over the assembled representatives like a shroud. So, let us forge this alliance, this partnership, in the spirit of mutual respect and cooperation. Let us work together to build a better future for all our species, a future in which the Death World and its people are not a threat to be feared, but an asset to be valued, a strength to be relied upon, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who follow in our footsteps. The human leader stepped back, his speech concluded, his message delivered. And as the Confederation representatives rose to their feet, some in applause, others in stunned silence, he knew that he had made his point, that he had staked his claim, that he had set the stage for a new era of human-alien relations, an era in which the Death World and its people would take their rightful place among the stars, not as victims or outcasts, but as leaders and pioneers, as the unbreakable spirit of humanity itself. And as the human delegation left the chamber, their heads held high, their eyes blazing with the fire of determination and pride, they knew that they had done more than just secure their place in the galaxy. They had sent a message loud and clear, to all who would hear it: humanity. Yeah. As the alliance between the humans and the Galactic Confederation grew stronger, the two sides began to work together to explore and colonize new worlds. The humans, with their unparalleled expertise in surviving hostile environments, became invaluable assets to the Confederation's efforts to expand its reach across the galaxy. But even as the humans reveled in their newfound status as galactic pioneers, they never forgot the lessons they had learned on their own Death World. They knew that the universe was a vast and unpredictable place, filled with dangers and challenges that could strike at any moment. And so, they remained ever vigilant, always ready to defend their hard-won gains against any threat that might arise. They fortified their new colonies with the same determination and ingenuity that had served them so well on Earth, building impregnable fortresses and developing advanced weapon systems that could repel even the most fearsome of foes. As the years passed, the humans' reputation as the galaxy's most formidable warriors only grew. They became known as the Death World Defenders, a force to be reckoned with on any battlefield. Their mere presence was enough to strike fear into the hearts of their enemies, and their unwavering courage and indomitable spirit inspired countless others to follow in their footsteps. But even as the humans basked in the glow of their triumphs, they never lost sight of the values that had brought them to this point. They remained fiercely independent, always ready to stand up for their beliefs and their way of life, no matter the cost. And when the Galactic Confederation once again found itself embroiled in conflict, this time with a powerful and technologically advanced alien race known as the Ron, it was the humans who stepped forward to lead the charge. The Ron, who had long viewed the Confederation as a rival power, had launched a surprise attack on several key Confederation worlds, catching the Alliance off guard and threatening to unravel the delicate balance of power that had held the galaxy together for so long. But the humans, ever ready for a fight, rallied their forces and launched a devastating counterattack. Led by their most skilled warriors, and equipped with the most advanced weapons and technology the Confederation had to offer, they struck at the heart of the Ron Empire, dealing a crushing blow to their enemies and sending a clear message that the Death World Defenders would not be trifled with. The war against the Ron was unlike anything the humans had ever faced before. The Ron were a technologically advanced species, with weapons and ships that far surpassed anything the Confederation had encountered. Their armies were vast and seemingly endless, and their tactics were ruthless and unforgiving. But the humans, forged in the crucible of their own Death World, were not ones to back down from a challenge. They met the Ron head-on, matching their ferocity and determination with a fierce resolve of their own. The battles were brutal and bloody, with casualties mounting on both sides. The humans and their allies fought with everything they had, pouring their hearts and souls into every engagement. They knew that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and they were determined to emerge victorious, no matter the cost. As the war dragged on, the humans began to adapt to the Ron's tactics. They studied their enemies' weaknesses, learning to exploit them with devastating efficiency. They developed new weapons and technologies specifically designed to counter the Ron's advanced systems, and they honed their skills in the art of guerrilla warfare, striking at the enemy from unexpected angles and disappearing before they could be caught. But even with all their ingenuity and determination, the humans knew that they could not win the war alone. They needed the support of their Confederation allies, and they worked tirelessly to build and maintain those alliances, even in the face of setbacks and defeats. The war raged on for years, with the humans and their Confederation allies locked in a brutal struggle for survival against the implacable Ron foe. But through it all, the humans never wavered, never lost sight of their ultimate goal: to protect the galaxy and its inhabitants from any threat. They knew that the Ron represented a threat, not just to the Confederation, but to the entire galaxy. They knew that if the Ron were allowed to prevail, countless worlds and civilizations would fall under their tyrannical rule, and the very fabric of galactic society would be torn asunder. And so, the humans fought on, driven by a sense of purpose and a fierce determination to protect the innocent and the vulnerable. They became the shield that guarded the galaxy against the darkness, the sword that struck down the enemies of peace and freedom. As the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the humans stood tall among the stars, their heads held high, and their eyes blazing with the fire of triumph. They had faced the worst the universe had to throw at them, and they had emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. In the end, it was the humans' unwavering courage and indomitable spirit that made the difference. They rallied their allies, they stood firm in the face of overwhelming odds, and they never, ever gave up. And through their dedication and their valor, they turned the tide of the war, pushing the Ron back and forcing them to the negotiating table. The war had taken a heavy toll on the humans and their allies, but they had emerged victorious, their place in the galaxy secured, and their reputation as the Death World defenders cemented for all time. They had shown the universe that even in the face of the greatest of challenges, the human spirit could not be broken, could not be defeated, and as the galaxy looked to the future, to the new era of peace and prosperity that the humans had helped to usher in, they knew that they could face whatever challenges lay ahead, with confidence and with hope, for they had the Death World defenders on their side, the unbreakable spirit of humanity, the shining beacon of all that was good and right in the universe.